Hey everyone, Karen Martell here from the other side of weight loss. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk a little bit about ditching the diet, which as many of you know that's what I am all about, is ditching your diet once and for all. So for those of you who are just new to the site, then I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. I'm a certified transformational nutrition coach and I specialize in helping women find their weight loss code, which is what we're going to discuss a little bit today about what that entails. So in mainstream media nowadays, we're really meant to believe that there's going to be some sort of, one-size-fits-all diet approach, whether it's through, being vegan or being paleo or going low carb or going high fat, whatever it is. There's thousands and thousands out there of different diet regimes. That it's going to be, some form of eating that is going to make you lose weight and keep it off for the rest of your life. And unfortunately, and I hope many of you are starting to catch on to this, and this is why you're here, it just doesn't work that way. There's so many factors now coming into our life when it comes to how we look and how we feel, that if you don't address a lot of those problems, then you're going to be constantly fighting that fight for the rest of your life of trying to find the right foods to eat in order to help you to lose weight. So I'm here to tell you about what else could be a factor in your weight loss journey and also just your health journey, because it's not always just about weight loss, but it's about how you feel. Because usually if you do have weight to lose, depending on how much, you usually have health problems to go with it. I think across the board, the women that I see, there's a lot of main issues that I see, emotional, digestive problems, stress problems, and these are all the things we're going to go into today. But it's not just about their weight. There's usually a health problem involved as well. So nowadays, when you go on a typical diet, it's usually, the whole calorie in, calorie out. You're made to go on this program for 21 days or 30 days, or, maybe it's more long term, but, it's counting calories. It's making sure that, what you're putting in is, basically matched at how much you're burning out. And that is their weight loss idea there. Unfortunately, what it usually means is it's a matter of how long can your willpower last for, which is what most diets, unfortunately, are based around. They don't, they're not going to ever say that, but that is what it is. I mean, we've all been through this, that, okay, I'm going to do this. You gear yourself up. It's the 30-day challenge, whatever it is. You eat, your 1 cup of brown rice with your 3-ounce protein of lean meat, and then some steamed vegetables with some salt on them. And you're allowed to snack on some carrots and celery. That's it. Raise your hand how many people have done that one before. I know I have. Or maybe it's a detox, or maybe it's a juice fast, or something like that, something more extreme. And you lose all this weight, but the entire time you're going, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for this to be over. And when it is over, you eat everything in sight because literally your body is starving. So I always say, really think about this for a second. Do you think that your grandma or your great-grandma or your great-great-great-grandma ever had to calorie count or watch what they were putting in their mouth? Did you know that there was not even obesity rates were not even kept track of until the 1970s. So you can just think about that. So whatever they were doing before the 1970s, they were doing right. Nobody was wearing Fitbits. Nobody was measuring food out. They certainly weren't keeping track of like low fat, low calorie, carbohydrate intake, things like that. So I invite you to just explore that for a second and think about what they would have been eating. It's really a lot to do with real food. Times were a lot different then too. Women had a lot more support. We tended to stay home. We weren't working another job, right? So stress levels were a lot less. The toxic environment was a lot less as well. We weren't being bombarded by hormones and toxins with everything we're eating and in our environment. So there was a lot of factors going on. But that doesn't mean that we can't apply some of that still to this day and age in order to help us feel better. And that's what it's all about. So I want you to start to not just look at what you're eating, but more about how you feel when you're eating and what the foods are, you know, what is it that you're eating, and maybe some things that you can switch around in order to feel better with the food that you're eating, and not starving, but just more nutrient based, filling yourself up, not worrying about the calories, and just eating the right foods. It's a little bit different than what we've been told by the mainstream media. So there's four factors four main factors. There's tons of factors that go into weight loss, but the four main things that I like to look at, because it seems like across the board, like I said earlier, that women have going on. And that's number one is diet, like we just discussed. So not so much about how much you're eating, it's more about the foods that you're eating. And each one of us is going to take something different in order to thrive. I've seen some women that need higher carbohydrate and a lower fat diet. I've seen some women that need way more fat, because fat was, you know, still, even though we're being told now that it's okay to eat good fat, I just saw a woman yesterday that she was petrified of eating good fat. So some women need more of the good fats put in and lowered carbohydrate. Some people need to have low inflammatory foods, which is a big thing to help women to lose weight. So it's about finding what it is that your body is going to thrive on. What are the right foods so that you're not feeling like you're starving and that you're having to, you know, have the battle of willpower, so that you feel satisfied, you feel full, you're not having to fight yourself, you're not having to count calories, and you're eating the foods that are right for you and your body at that time, okay? So like I said, that's different for everybody. Second, of course, is our hormones. We are being bombarded by so many different aspects right now as far as like what can disrupt our hormone levels. I have yet to see a woman over the age of 35 that does not have some form of a hormonal imbalance going on when she's gone and had her hormones tested. Okay, so that really says a lot. Nobody, and I've worked with hundreds of women over the age of 35 that hasn't had some form of hormone dysregulation. So really, this is a very important factor, because you can be eating all the right foods, doing all the right amount of exercise, but if your hormones are really out of whack, you're going to only be able to lose so much weight, if any at all. I've seen women doing all the right things, and their hormones were such in an imbalance in them that they could not even lose a pound of weight, and had been that way for years. So the hormonal system is something that you just, without doubt, you have to look at, and you have to say, okay, what's going on here? And working with health professionals, whether it be myself or with a naturopath or your MD, you should always be looking, especially if you're showing up with a lot of signs of hormonal dysregulation. That can be, you know, the emotional roller coaster, like, hey, I can't get off the emotional roller coaster. You're doing the up and down of emotions constantly from a day-to-day basis, anxiety, depression, bad PMS, acne, the muffin top, the weight around the middle is huge. Weight around the middle is a real sign that you have a hormonal imbalance. Of course, infertility as well, which is huge right now for women. It's on the rise, and it's getting more and more. So these are just some things to look at, just some things to consider that could be part of your weight loss journey that you haven't thought about before. Third is stress management. We live in a day and age where it is all around us at all times, and the normal is to be stressed. And unfortunately, our bodies do not think that is normal. So we think that, you know, as women, especially right now, many of us are not only raising our children, still the primary caregivers, we're cleaning, we're cooking, and we're holding down a 5-day-a-week job, 9 to 5. And there is no time for us. There is no time for downtime or to feed ourselves, you know, whether it be spiritually, physically, whatever it is. But our stress levels are constantly up here now. And unfortunately, we're really starting to see the effects of that happening. And stress, although being one of the most challenging things for women to wrap their head around, is one of the biggest factors when it comes to weight and also to all health aspects. Everything from heart disease to cancer to inflammation to digestive difficulties to the hormones. Stress will mess with your hormones more than anything. So keep that one in mind as well. Stress has a lot to do with it. Fourth on the list, did we do 4 now? Is digestive health. So this is one that nobody really thinks about. They don't think that because they have heartburn or because they have gas or whatever it is, that could actually be stopping them from losing weight. But all the newest of science that's coming out is telling us otherwise. So the digestive health is kind of like a symptom of what something larger that's happening a lot of the time, or it's a contributing factor to a lot of the stuff that's happening. So you have to look at it as like in the big picture. If you are having gas and you're having upset stomach, you're feeling nauseous when you eat, or you get home at the end of the day, this was always a big one for me before I figured things out, was I would feel like I couldn't even fit into my pants at the end of the day. Like in the morning, no problem, come home at night, and I couldn't wait to even just take them off because my stomach would hurt so bad because it was so bloated. So that really tells us that your digestive system is off, you're not digesting foods fast enough, which is a problem. You're not absorbing the proper nutrients that your body needs in order to lose weight, like in order to even run your metabolism. It's also can be a sign that there's other underlying health problems, whether there be pathogens like yeast or candida or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth that have a lot to do with different health problems in the body, and can also really contribute to what I call weight loss resistance. So that, once again, what we were talking about with the hormones, where you could be doing everything right as far as eating and exercise, but if you have a bad gut system going on, that can actually stop women from losing weight completely. So they can't, no matter what they do, they just can't lower their weight. So these are all things, the big factors that go into women's weight loss. And so I like to look at all of them and plus more, see if there's other things going on. But know that there is no quick fix. This is the message for today. There is no quick fix. I want you to ditch the diet and just wrap your head around the fact that you're going to take something different than your friends are going to take, and they're going to take something from different than what everybody else is going to take as well. We all are very unique individuals, and as much as we would love to have the quick fix, I will tell you right now, if there was one, we would know already, and we would all be walking around, everybody would be thin, and there would be no obesity rates, right? So let go of that dream once and for all. And if you're ready to take the step, then do it. I offer a free 20-minute discovery session. I like to be really honest with people of whether or not I can even help them. So, which is why I offer the 20-minute discovery session. So we have a chance to sit down and talk with one another and just see if we're going to be a good match. And if I don't think I can help you, I am really good at referring you to somebody that I think can. And I am always happy to do that, because my mission is to help as many of you as I possibly can to feel and look your best. So that's the message for today. Ditch the diet, ladies, and let's start doing the work so that you can transform. Okay? Thanks. Have a good one.